All right, 6 o'clock. Stand for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, just a reminder to silence your cell phones. And we will start with roll call.
Mayor Sherman.
Here.
Councilor Horton.
Here.
Councilor Quinlan.
Here.
Councilor Scalise.
Here.
Councilor Skiles.
Here.
Councilor Spradlin. Councilor Tyree.
Here.
Very good. Got a quorum. Approval of the agenda. Do we have any changes on the agenda tonight?
I have one. We'll need to remove the swimming pool item from the work session for this meeting, and we'll bring that back at a later meeting.
Okay. Perfect. Would they like to make a motion with that correction?
I move we approve the agenda for the regular meeting of August 10th, 2026 with the removal of the swimming pool discussion from the work session.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Councilor Skiles.
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan.
Yes.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Approval of the minutes. Do we have any corrections on the minutes from last meeting? If not, look for motion.
I move we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of July 27th, 2026.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Councilor Tyree.
Yes.
Councilor Quinlan.
Yes.
Councilor Skiles.
Yes.
Councilor Horton.
Yes.
Councilor Scalise.
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Visitors and delegations. Citizen comments. Citizens are invited to speak to council on any item that does not have a public hearing scheduled. Are you here for citizen comments, Jamie? Yep, okay. Then I won't read anymore. All right, so we'll move on to management. We have a proclamation. Tammy Wick is here with Department of Human Services. Do you want to speak on this one?
Yes, I'm Tammy Wick. I'm the 40 administrator and manager of the Child Support Services at the Human Services in Morgan County. Just to tell you a little bit about what we do. And August is nationally known as the Child Support Awareness Month. It was established in 1996 by Bill Clinton to help ensure that all children have the financial support they need to thrive. Every year we try to get around to, and it's designated to educate citizens in the services of child support, because our program provides how to apply for those services. It's a month to remind parents that child support is crucial to financial security and well-being of their children. And what child support does is we locate absent parents, we establish paternity for children, we establish child support orders, we enforce child support orders, we modify child support orders, as well as we enforce medical support orders. So, and that is for non-custodial parents, anywhere from moms to dads to relatives to kin providers of any type. We will establish an order, establish maternity, so that that child gets it, and then we enforce it. Just to give you an idea, in 2025, Morgan County Child Support Services collected over $3.3 million that went right back into, it just goes through in our office and out our office, but really FSR in Denver. And so it comes right back into the community, $3.3 million. And so far this year, we've collected $1,842,000 up till June. So we're on track to do the same for this year. Statewide, they collected $321 million $959,000 for last year. And nationwide, it was $29.3 billion. And the state, we in Morgan County have 11 technicians. In the state, there are 64. 699 for the 64 counties. So, but that's, Morgan County employs, has currently about 1,554 cases that we do for probably all states as well as Puerto Rico, and we do have a couple of international cases that we do. So we can even, if you've already got a support order, we can enforce that support order, no matter where it's from. So that's about it for telling you what we do, unless you have any questions.
Thank you for all the work you do for that.
All right.
It's in handy, and we will have Councilor Skiles will read the proclamation for us.
Okay.
And that's it. So, thank you.
Do it.
Yeah.
Proclamation number 2026-10, proclaiming August as Child Support Awareness Month. Whereas Morgan County recognizes that every child matters and joins the nation in recognizing August as Child Support Awareness Month. Whereas child support is a vital source of income for households in Morgan County, many of them low-income families. Whereas strengthening families improves the lives of children by prompting their safety and well-being and provides economic security. Whereas Morgan County applauds the parents who support their children and make child support payments consistently to care for them. Whereas child support professionals are important assets to the county, working in collaboration with parents and other community partners to ensure that children and families receive quality services. Whereas it is important to increase public awareness of the child support program through outreach and education to reinforce the position that all parents must take responsibility for their financial, emotional, and physical support of their children. Therefore, be it resolved that Brush City Council does hereby proclaim August 2026 Child Support Awareness Month and encourages all citizens of Morgan County to work together to make our children's futures stable and bright.
All right. So I need to make a motion to accept the proclamation, approve the proclamation.
I move we approve proclamation 2026-10 designating August as Child Support Awareness Month.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Quinlan?
Yes.
Counselor Tyree?
Yes.
Counselor Scalise?
Yes.
Counselor Horton?
Yes.
Counselor Skiles?
Yes.
Mayor Sherman?
Yes. All right, that motion passes. Next we have a reclassification of, thank you, Tammy. Have a good night. Reclassification of our ARPA funding.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In December of 2024, the City Council approved reporting to the U.S. Treasury the obligation of spending $200,000 of the ARPA funds for the development of the Westwood subdivision. We are obligated to spend that money, expense those funds by December 31st of this year. If not, they will have to be returned to the federal government. That being stated, we are not able to spend these funds as obligated to the Westwood subdivision. So we come before you this evening to look at doing a reclassification of those funds. They do not have to be reobligated because we are allowed to reclassify those funds to another eligible project that we've already recorded and obligated to the Treasury. And those include the CARES downtown improvements, the Cambridge Street stormwater, and the Prairie Trails Park. So we are confident that if we reclassify this $200,000 to these three projects, that the funds will be expensed by the end of the year. That is our goal and our intent. So we bring to you this evening a request to approve to reclassify this $200,000 originally to Westwood subdivision to the following projects and according to these amounts. Cambridge Street stormwater improvements, to reclassify $21,928 to that project. and $30,000 to reclassify to the CARES Downtown Improvements Project, and the remainder of the $148,072 to the Prairie Trails Park. It's requesting this evening. That's what I have for you. Any questions?
We've got to use it quickly.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Appreciate you staying on top of that.
Yes. Okay, thank you.
Very good. All right, so I would look for a motion on this reclassifying the funds.
How specific do we need to be?
Shall we say as stated, or do you want him to?
I would say move to approve or deny, and then read.
Just the, okay.
Would you agree, Dan?
Yes, please do. Thank you. Sorry, I was trying not to talk over you.
Okay. I move that we approve the reclassification of Obligated American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA funding. Do I need to be more specific than that?
As discussed by treasurer, correct?
To the 3 projects discussed by the
As discussed
finance.
by the
director.
finance director for the 3 specific projects that were mentioned. Okay, was that good?
Yes, I think that's sufficient.
Okay.
Second.
All right, any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Counselor Skiles,
Yes.
Counselor Tyree,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. That motion passes. We'll move on to finance.
I'd like to make a motion to approve disbursements and payroll for July 28th, 2026 through August 10th, 2026, totaling $1,161,69.46.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call vote.
Counselor Skiles,
Yes.
Counselor Quinlan,
Yes.
Counselor Scalise,
Yes.
Counselor Horton,
Yes.
Mayor Sherman.
Yes. All right, that motion passes. We'll move on to staff reports. Tyler Purvis.
All right, good evening, Madam Mayor, City Council. Happy end of summer for everybody as school starts this week.
Yeah.
All right, handful of items I'll go through pretty quick. Feel free to ask any questions along the way. Foremost, we just had an appraisal done for the Brush Agri Park north of I-76 on the east side of Highway 71, right around Colorado Land Processors. It was originally subdivided into just 2 parcels back when we sold off roughly 20 acres to Colorado Land Processors for their development in the stormwater pond up there. The rest of it we've conceptually laid out, but as part of our process of wanting to sell some of the property up there, we're going to be working with a surveyor to actually subdivide that into 5 different parcels, ranging roughly from 4.6 acres down to about roughly 2 acres or so. So that'll be forthcoming, going through the process that we need to for that, to have available properties ready to roll. It's all zoned industrial right now, and so we might change the zoning on some of those depending on where the conversation goes. So just a heads up that that's going to be coming down the pike. We are going to be closing on the 223 Clayton Street later this month. On the 18th is the plan. And we'll likely need to put an RFP out probably next week for the architectural services. We kind of threw an initial feeler out there to some firms to see what kind of response we can get with the cost and everything that will be tied to that. And then currently how it's structured financially, then the city would need to go through our current process on acquiring a firm to do that. So if that be the case, that'll come before council as well. For the community at large, just a general heads up that this is coming, which is our office for rooftop solar panels. Historically, we haven't touched them. It's been primarily electrical, which all goes through the state for permitting. There's a structural element to it that is supposed to be required, as well as clearance around the outside of the solar panels for fire department. In case fire happens, they can walk up there without having to crawl across solar panels themselves. In the past, we have not been requiring permits, but with the new requirements that we adopted for the state for energy, we decided that we're going to go ahead and pull the trigger and start requiring permits locally if someone's going to get rooftop solar on their house. So it'll be electrical permit through the state as well as through our office as well. It won't be complicated, but as part of the process that the solar companies should be doing is doing an engineering drawing, engineering assessment to make sure that the panels on there are adequate for the roof itself. Weight, wind load, things like that. Every house theoretically should be able to handle it, but there are some older homes with very flat roofs and snow loads and different things, just making sure that all is up to snuff there for the safety of the residents in the house. So just a heads up on that. If you remember 3 years ago, roughly, we opted into Proposition 123, which is part of the funds that the state put aside because Proposition 123 was a yes by the voters across Colorado to put money aside for affordable housing. And so the state's been collecting that money and putting it in different funds and using that in different ways. And to get access to it, you had to opt in and make a commitment that over the next 3 years, we're going to do our best to try to increase our low income or our affordable housing units by whatever that number was. I can't remember off the top of our head what it was, but that's going to be due by the end of this year. And it's structured different ways. There's new construction, preservation of affordable housing, the conversion to affordable housing, and then just naturally occurring affordable housing. And so we're working on all the qualifiers for that right now. If we don't meet that, then all that means is that we go 1 year without getting access to state funds that are in place, and then the year after that, as it sits right now, you can reapply for different stuff. And so far we have gotten the, get my acronym set up right, the local planning capacity grant over there by the golf course, $80-something thousand. So we received that for Proposition 123, and then a $50,000 grant in addition to that for opting in as well. So far we've gotten over $100,000 simply by opting in on trying to make some strides forward toward addressing housing in some creative and different ways. So I'll keep you posted on where that lands by the end of the year. And then also another requirement that a different piece of legislation put in place, I think last year in 2025, maybe 2024, but by the end of this year, we will have to have a water planning component that's tied to our comprehensive plan that meets certain criteria. And there's other requirements that they have for jurisdictions, but we're not having to do that because of population or a declining population. Based on demographics, basically. So we opted in, we didn't opt in, we partnered and are piggybacking with City of Fort Morgan and Wiggins and Log Lane Village on doing a housing needs assessment around the county, which you have to do that every or so often anyway. I think it's every 3 years with the state. We have a current one already, but this was no cost to us, so we're jumping on board with that. Fort Morgan's taking the lead on it. I met with a consultant on that last week who's going to be going around and doing some analysis, meeting with some stakeholders on giving us a true projection on this is where you are with housing, these are the opportunities and that kind of thing. And then with that, they agreed that they're going to also bring in that water planning piece that's required by the state. And then we'll bring that before council so you're aware of it. And the state's reasoning for that is simply with water being such a big issue across the state, they want to ensure that local governments, local jurisdictions are taking water into consideration, not just passively or generically, a little more specifically are looking at, do we truly have water for the growth and the plans for our future community, as opposed to making plans for growth and not really having a plan for the water that's going to meet that growth. So that'll be part of what we're going to be working on with them. So that is everything. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Taylor. Chris Bastian.
Good evening once again. I have just a couple of things. First and foremost, included in your packet was the 2025 audit, the electronic version. That's to help you prepare and review for when Scott Zabo, who is with our audit firm, will be here the 24th of August. Our next council meeting actually will be at 5:30. He'll present to the Finance Committee. All of the councilors, of course, are invited to attend, and it'll be held right here in council chambers. So I want to make sure you're all aware of that. Also in the packet, I included, now that we've got 25 out of the way, can gear back into 26. So as the first quarter for 2026. That's financial report. So I just want to touch on a few things in that report. Our general fund revenue is down just a bit for this time, according to last year. We're down about 7%. And we're seeing that due to a decrease of about 5% in our city sales tax. So we're just going to keep monitoring that, keep taking a look at that as we move through the year. Our use tax was down considerably as well. And of course, we all know use tax. That revenue is dependent upon the sale of building permits and any construction that's happening within the city. So that can fluctuate from quarter to quarter and also from year to year. We had some capital fund expenditures for this quarter. The biggest one was the Axon Taser Tech products for the fire department, or for the police department, excuse me. And then also in the fire and building fund, the fire department did purchase their Cascade trailer with their air bottles in the first quarter. So then we move on to the revenue for the enterprise funds. It is up from this time last year. And we do contribute that to the wastewater fund as we had some water surcharges and plan investment fees this first quarter. So that increased that revenue. So we'll continue to monitor the enterprise revenue as well. The enterprise capital expenditure for the quarter was a new trash truck. That was the big expense. So overall, bottom line, government-wide, the city brought in $4.5 million in revenue for this quarter, compared to $3.9 million from this time last year. So it's up $600,000 from last year. We've expensed or spent $3.9 million this quarter compared to $3.5 from last year. So it's a minimal increase of $400,000 just for expenditure. So I think the organization has done really well this first quarter in keeping track of their expenditures. Our cash is in really good shape for the first quarter. Our revenue, of course, exceeded our expense by $500,000. So we're doing really well there. We'll continue to watch cash flow. So if we have to use any reserves, we'll definitely be looking at that throughout the year. Our expenses are in line as well, and of course we'll continue to track the progress as we move on through the year. So the first quarter of the year we're in good sound financial territory. Our cash is good, our cash flow is good. So we're on track to maintain that as we continue through the year. So I look forward to bringing you more information in council meetings to come. So that's what I have for you. Do you have any questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Miranda.
I do have just a few things this evening. The first thing is I want to congratulate Chan, who recently received her certification from the International Institute of Municipal Clerks. She's been working really hard to get that certification and been going to a lot of trainings, both in-house trainings and then also offered by both the state and the international associations for city clerks as well. So she's doing really well, picking up on her duties in the clerk's office, and I'm really thankful to have her here.
Okay.
So just wanted to pass that along. And then I wanted to report too that we're making progress this week on a couple of our safety projects, and we will see more progress toward the rest of the safety projects within the next couple months. And I will update you once we're ready to have some safety training with council. And we are currently demoing, looking at some different open record software platforms. We've seen an increase in the number of records requests that we have for the large volume of records. And so we really think that this software platform is going to help us out tremendously. And so we want that installed or implemented so that we can launch probably mid-fall. And we'll keep you updated on that as well. And then tonight's live feed, I don't know what is wrong with it. I'm going to have to go ahead and after the meeting tonight, upload our recording, but we haven't had issues for quite a while, and this issue appears to be with our channel on YouTube. And so it's just not picking up our stream, or it's not communicating like it should. So I've done what troubleshooting I could in the time I had before coming into the meeting, and I'll talk with the school district tomorrow. But they're pretty busy right now, so we'll at least have it fixed before next meeting. And then the last thing to mention is I emailed you this evening or this afternoon about the CML Fall District meeting that's going to be on September 3rd in Sterling. if any of you or who of you would like to attend, just let me know and I'll get you registered.
Very good.
And that concludes what I had.
Thank you. All right, Dan Crubb. Have
Thank
anything?
you, Mayor. I just first wanted to apologize to Chris Bostrom. I know you're not the treasurer, and I meant to call you the finance director, so sorry about that.
That's a lot to keep track of. It's okay.
Let's see, I've been working and we've actually got some progress on that 7 Circle Drive, so I don't want to jinx it too much, but that is moving forward. I've also been working with Monty and Dale on some land transfers and contracts that have been in the works for well before I was ever there, and hopefully we can get that wrapped up. And then I can't see you, but you sound much better, so welcome back, Mayor, and I hope you're feeling great.
Thank you very much. I'm feeling better.
And that's all I have.
Very good. Thank you. Monty.
Okay, a few items. First one is in your packet is a copy of an email and the final permit for our watershed protection district. The city council delegated to me the authority to get the permit executed. It took a number of different meetings and discussions and reviews, but we put it in there because I'd mentioned to the council way back that we'd keep you informed about this permit, and so it's in your packet. It's pretty detailed, but if you ever have any questions, just give us a shout and we'll get the answers for you. But it's one of those things that we do to protect the watershed where our water comes from, and it is one of the priorities that we've had for the city of Brush for probably the last 6-7 years. We've always kept that as a very high priority, not only to develop water, but protect what we have. The one additional property that Dan was talking about, that's one that the city council had also given me the approval to move forward with executing a contract, and I'm hoping in the next 2 or 3 weeks we have a contract put together. Along with that, we have to do a utility agreement for water and wastewater services for a company here in town. They're kind of connected. So that is on its, should be on its final review this week, and then after that we'll get this on the calendar to do an action item. I think it's going to take an ordinance because it's a long-term contract, so we'll get that moving forward. Also, if Loranda, the Veterans Memorial, can you hand those out? These are just, they're actually AI work, but these are just a concept that Lance has come up with for the Veterans Memorial. And there's a small committee that's working on that with Lance. And this is just it's a stab in the dark. It's just to help, talk and start coming up with ideas. It could end up with being something totally different, but he already has a local donation from I think it's from a resident here in Brush, financial contribution to the memorial, and then from a company in Brush, kind of newer to Brush. They've indicated that they would like to put some funds towards this project. And I'm just handing this out because when we talk about priorities for next year, this is one of the discussion pieces about adding something along these lines to our priorities for 27 and 28.
Where is he looking at doing this?
Out by Prairie Trails Park, but then again, it can move different places. That's just where he's got some land space, but there could be 2 or 3 other locations around the community too we haven't thought about yet. And Dan, are you on that committee with Lance? So Dan's on that as well. And what we want to do is just build up some interest this year, and then this next year go heavier into identifying the how we're going to pay for it and get some contributions, and the city can put in some funds. And if we're going to do it, I think we need to make a really, really good memorial, something that's attractive enough where veterans and visitors will walk through it and take a look at things.
I love it.
So it'll probably end up way different than that, but I thought it was also interesting to see what AI can do for you. And so when he brought it in to me, I was so impressed at how good he did with it.
Mhm.
He said it's AI. The other thing is, you can send one of these that way and one of these this way. Congratulations to the record-setting steer at our Morgan County Fair. The city, we partnered with about, I think like 10 or 12 other buyers, and we chipped in to get the grand champion this year. It was hard finding someone that wanted to go to the fair and do the auctioning, and so the opportunity came up to partner up with some other local businesses and individuals. So that worked out really well. Also, I've been attending the county home rule charter meetings. One of the final ones, I think it's either this week or next week. I'll have to check the dates. It's coming up. But a lot of my interest revolves around ensuring that nothing changes with county road and bridge property taxes that come to the city of Brush. So I've been attending those, looking at how they're potentially capping, the charter would cap some property taxes that was voted on by the committee working on it, the commissioners that are working on it, but still has to go to a vote of the people. But overall, it's not a significant impact to Brush at this point. But I'm going to visit one more time to see if we can get something in writing that protects the city, county, road and bridge tax that is the city's portion of it, and see if we can maybe protect that. And that's very important to us because our second priority that we've had for the last 4 years and going to go into the 5th is more work on our streets. And that's one of the funding sources that we have to do work on our city streets. So attending those, and then I was just going to ask the council on the agenda for mayor and council reports. I was just going to ask you all to just give me your quick thoughts on flock cameras, you know, the license plate readers, simply because we've had them in place working for a few months now. And I did have one resident over the weekend message me and asking about them. And even though our decisions were 9 months, a year ago to fund these, I couldn't remember the thoughts from the council that far back. And then I've only had one email and that one text message in regards to it since we've had those discussions. But I was going to ask you just to give me your quick thoughts on flock cameras. And currently we have the 4 in town up by, I think they're up by Love's and Mavericks, and I believe one might be over by Ebenezer maybe, another one the northeast part of town. But so anyways, that's all I have.
Okay. Thank you. All right, mayor and council reports. I will start. I did get some calls on the slot cameras. Just they've trickled in. But first I wanted to start off by saying I got a lot of calls and emails this week, not a lot, but a few, on the swimming pool hours changing. And I just want to let Monty and Lance know how much I appreciate them working on coming up with a resolution for the residents and extending those hours through.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then Lance has put those out, I think through our system that sends out messages to residents is giving the modified hours that we have for the swimming pool. And then so the council knows, also asked Lance to kind of track how much usage this last month and to get an idea of how much it costs to stay open for an additional, 3 or 4 weeks with the staffing of it. And later we'll just come back to the council and say, it cost us $12,000. Is it worth it for 6 people? For example, just to see where the council. Yeah, so we just want to find out so we can come back to council for future years and say, once kids go back to school, the bigger challenge is we start losing all the lifeguards, and the college kids leave typically a week before. and then all of a sudden you're scrambling trying to find coverage, and sometimes you can't. But then, so that's the bigger challenge. Then we wanted to see what is the true usage afterwards, after kids go back to school.
And as far as the flock cameras goes, I've always been in favor of them, just hearing from law enforcement on what they use them for and how useful they are. So I'm pro cameras. And I think because I've gotten lots of feedback on those too, and I think people just don't realize what they do or their limitations, that they're not, watching, they're just helping track vehicles from one community to the next that might need to be tracked by law enforcement. So, okay, other counselors.
I'm in favor. Generally because I've used them. I know how useful they could be in investigations. And I don't understand why people are so concerned about them when your cell phone is gathering more data on you than those cameras are, and they track all of your movements.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm curious why people are so concerned about the cameras when other devices that we use collect far more data than those cameras ever do.
That's a good point.
The only negatives like that I've heard about the flock cameras, that some people are resistant to them, is because, and I think I just heard this week that maybe a woman in I don't know if she was in a sheriff's department or a police department, she was tracking like her husband's ex-wife or something, and for personal usage, which of course then that's clearly a violation of what it was intended for. I think those instances are few and far between. So as far as what they're designed to do, I think they serve its purpose. And again, I think it's not any worse than, say, when, like, if I like to run the brush rush route, and every time I run by somebody's Ring camera, they're recording me. So, people out walking I get to see people on my camera that are walking their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, the cameras are everywhere, and as long as there's not abuse of the camera, and from what I kind of heard and know, that they're serving its purpose as far as doing what they were intended to do, which I believe was my understanding, is for legalities, not checking up on
X's and O's.
X's.
I do think the potential for abuse does exist. Like I think
It exists for everything. Yeah.
You use these.
Yeah, so there's some, now there's the auditing portions of it. Like, there used to not be the auditing portions that they didn't do. And that's where you had a lot of the ethics coming up, because of the facts of they didn't have to justify why they were looking up something. So now it asks for reasons why you're looking at that. If you're typing an actual plate in, you have to give a reason why. So either like a call for service or a case number, some reason, so that it's trackable and it's audible. And I mean, it's all it shows is your vehicle was there. Doesn't show who was in it, doesn't show anything else. It just says your vehicle passed this area. That's it. So I mean, yeah, I use them all the time too. I mean, it's the flock name is the brand is what is now being criticized on, but there's other license plate readers out there also. It's just not that brand. Then they like to look at it's going to a third party system, so someone else has access to it, that kind of thing. That's what a lot of people are looking at also, is who else has access to that. So
I'm for 'em. I think the biggest upset in people is that it's something new in their surroundings, and that's why there's so much turmoil over it. That's why people don't realize, like, Ring cameras, or a lot of cities, especially in the mountain communities, have live streams of like their rivers or their parks. Then you look down to the CDOT. CDOT has live cameras of all the highways in Colorado. So it's like, this is nothing new. It's just physically new. It's just something I can see.
Yeah.
So I'm for it. And like the ethics thing. It's a new tool, and now we just have to figure out the appropriate way to use the tool.
I'm not opposed to it. I think it's has a purpose, and as long as it's not being abused, it's very helpful. And you know, you go to Walmart, and there's always cameras, and it shows you're being filmed. So, and this is, I think the fear is this is like Big Brother, you know. It has some negative connotation to it, but
We're already there.
yeah, I guess I see a good purpose to it.
I have one more thing to add. At the CML conference, I did talk to the Flock rep. They said that they could send somebody out to do a community briefing for people that have questions, if that was something the PD or the city was interested in.
I don't know if we need to go that level. There's just a couple that came my way, but I was going to have Chief of Police, when he comes back, simply give us an overview of how useful it's been, because on my administrator side, I just want to make sure we're getting the best bang for our buck, you know. So if we're spending money every year on software and updates, I just want to make sure it's a good financial decision for the city as well. Well, thanks for all the feedback.
Anybody have anything else? All right, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn and move into our work session.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll go into work session.
Okay. Tyler's going to kick things off this evening.
Okay.